Mayor Brown?
Had a chance to be with President Biden and First Lady Dr. Jill Biden. They visited Buffalo to meet with the families of the victims of this terrible attack on the Buffalo community that shot 13 people and killed 10. The president was very compassionate. President spent an extended amount of time with the families, which was very good to see, really giving families one-on-one time to be able to talk to him and the First Lady.
What were some of the things the family members said to the president?
The president and First Lady met with the families one-on-one, so it was just the president, First Lady, and the families. Those of us that traveled with the president were not in those individual meetings with families.
Did you get a chance to talk? What's the schedule?
Talking to the CEO of Tops, John Persons, they would like to open the store as quickly as possible. They understand the importance of the store to the community. Right now, there is still an investigation going on inside of the store. As soon as that is concluded, Tops will then begin to do the work that they have to do to reopen. In the meantime, they will be providing assistance in getting customers that don't have access to vehicles to other Tops supermarkets in their network, recognizing that people really rely on this store for their groceries and also to fill their prescriptions.
Also, the medical examiner, when do you expect that the process of releasing the bodies to the families and funerals to start taking place?
I think that process is probably going to start to move more quickly. It is my understanding that the first of the funerals is going to be this Saturday, so that process is moving. I don't have the name right now as we speak.
Describe what it was like over at the memorial with the president and other politicians. It was a very somber moment.
It was a somber moment. It was an emotional moment. We added flowers to the already significant outpouring of support. The number of flowers, candles, and other items that were there show the tremendous impact that this horrible act has had on the community. Saw a real resolve in the president to make a difference, to try to bring to an end mass shootings in this country. They happen horribly for different reasons. This one motivated by racial hatred, but over the last several years there have been hundreds of mass shootings in the United States and America, Buffalo being one of the most recent and one of the most deadly.
Mayor, what did you in the president speak? How was that conversation?
I had the opportunity to speak to the president a number of times during his visit on the tarmac, at the memorial site here outside of Tops, and at the Delavan Grider Community Center. The president certainly talked about gun control. He talked about his concern for the families here. There was talk about what could be done to end these mass shootings. The president seemed very moved by what he saw here in this community, and I really felt a strong sense of resolve and commitment in the president to try to bring change as it relates to these kinds of situations.
Yeah, we talked to some people who said, tragedies like this happen, and then politicians come here and they say beautiful things, but then nothing ever changes. What's your feeling about that? If you kind of just touched on it.
As it relates to gun control in this country, change has been very elusive. There are those in Washington who have put the needs and the desires of the gun manufacturers ahead of the lives of Americans. That has to stop. And I think the president will not forget. I think he was moved by what he saw. I think he has a sense of resolve. Many of us, some of us that were able to travel with the president, live in this zip code. Every day I wake up, I leave this zip code to go to Buffalo City Hall and other parts of this community. Every night that I come back home to lay my head down on the pillow, I come back to this zip code. So I will never forget. I can't forget. This is my community. This is where I come every day, and this is why I work so hard to make a difference. So I won't forget, and I won't let others forget what happened here in Buffalo, New York, what happened to my friends, what happened to my neighbors, what happened to my community.
The more we learn about the alleged shooter and the planning and the months that he spent becoming radicalized and consuming all this, what the president today called poisoning, what's your reaction to that? It just seems like we keep learning more and more about this individual.
The radicalization of this individual, the level of hatred in the heart and head of this individual is stunning. It's staggering to know that that kind of hate, that kind of evil, that kind of premeditated evil exists in our nation, exists in the state of New York. I think much more has to be done about social media and hate speech on social media, hate speech that comes out over our airwaves. The president touched on that. The president spoke about that, and I am hopeful that more will be done to prevent the proliferation of hate on social media.
Mayor, I know that President Biden has had the chance to speak directly with you, but what did you make of his comments to the people of the United States and to the people of the community of Buffalo, and just what he had to say today at the Delvin Grider Community Center?
Well, the president said a lot of things. He talked about the fallacy of replacement theory, how nonsensical that is. He called it out. He called out white supremacy and talked about the evil of that. He certainly talked about guns and something being done about assault weapons and assault weapons falling into the wrong hands in our country. And those messages to the American people are critically important. I think the president's resolve, I saw him steel himself during this visit to get something done. I felt it. I think it's powerful, and I think it's real. But what was even more powerful to me in this time and in this moment was the moments that the president spent with the families of the victims of this racially motivated, heinous attack on this community. And the president didn't hurry through those meetings, didn't rush through the people that were hurting and in pain, and spent a lot of time individually with families, which I think shows his compassion and his commitment to change.
Have you got an opportunity to talk to the officers who were like some of the first responders and stuff? How are they doing? What has your message been to them?
I have spoken to some of the police officers and firefighters who are first responders to the scene. I thank them for their bravery. I thank them for their heroic actions, for running into this danger as others had to hide and had to run for their lives. If not for the swift response of the Buffalo Police Department, more lives would have been lost on that Saturday afternoon. If not for the heroic actions of security officer and retired Buffalo police officer Aaron Salter engaging the shooter and exchanging gunfire with the shooter that ultimately took his life, more people would probably have gotten killed inside the store. So our police officers, our firefighters that responded to the scene are heroes. It was a horrific scene. the damage done with the assault weapons, taking 10 lives, was like a war zone. And certainly, as human beings, I'm sure that has an impact on our police officers and our firefighters. We've encouraged our police and our firefighters who have responded to seek counseling if they need it, to not feel like there's any weakness or anything wrong in talking to somebody about the pain that they feel, because they feel pain, they feel anger, and they feel hurt as well.
Anyone else? Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.